Hey guys, what is up? Eric Hill here, one half of the Hill Twins. Today we're back at it again for another video. That is right. As you guys can see, oops, I revealed a card. As you guys can see, we are going to be doing our Janemba FB05 New Adventure leader list for you guys. I did tell you guys that I had a few lists. This leader is actually completely versatile and he's super fun to play with. And you can be super creative with his list, with this deck and leader. And the yellow cards really do justice to, you know, just utilizing energy and things of that sort. So it's something that's very, very, very interesting. Before we jump into the list, let's just kind of go over the leader again. As you guys can see, we have Janemba. So Baby Janemba, or his unawakened side, is a 15k leader that when attacking you get to draw one card. Then he has an awaken, which can be activated on the main or the battle. And when your life is at 4 unless you draw one card and then you flip him over. Now once you flip him over to this bad boy, he actually becomes more interesting and absolutely unique. So as you guys can see, when attacking, switch up to 2 of your energies to active mode. So he's not going to draw anymore when attacking, but he does switch those 2 energies to active mode. Then he has to activate main once per turn. Tap 2 of your energy, draw 1 card, then choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards in the battle area and switch it to rest mode. So just to kind of dive in a little bit on, you know, what he's doing. He's a kind of a toolboxy, versatile leader. Being able to ready up 2 energy on your turn is pretty sinister because it just kind of opens up all these extended plays that you normally would not have access to. And an important note is we have the yellow Vegeta from FB05. And, you know, he's a menace at times because he actually untaps energy and it leaves room to, you know, be offensive and then defensive. But here's a leader that actually untaps 2 on the turn, on your turn, which is just pretty interesting. And then you can always draw that 1 card if you really need to, especially as the turns go later into the game. You know, you'll have that 2 energy to draw a card and then untap 2 to cycle if you really need to do that. So very toolboxy. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the list. And again, guys, there is no right or wrong list for this leader. Especially at this point in time. This is just something that I've been toying around with. This is my mid-range list. Had an idea and I wanted to expand upon it. And until the commons and uncommons get released, we really don't know what extra support this leader is going to have, which could possibly make him even more insane, right? So for the starters, we're going to reveal these 3 cards here. And 4 cards rather, and this is going to be our 1-drops for the deck. As you know, when he awakens, he untaps 2 energy. You start to utilize a lot of your energies, especially that 1 or 2 energies, to play these 1-drops and draw cards. So there's going to be 4 Ginyu, 3 Sorbet, 4 Hercule because he looks better, and then 4 Bomas. These are going to be your draw power of the deck, just kind of cycling cards, moving through the deck, seeing cards, and then Ginyu and Boma are going to be like your draw. So, for example, because he does not draw when attacking, your opponent is now forced to kind of get rid of these Ginyus and Bomas as soon as possible, because otherwise you would gain value from them, and now, you know, you're drawing cards or extra cards per turn and untapping energy and having more resources. So it's pretty like good to have these things established. One of the things to take notes of is also, you know, there's not much drawbacks with the Ginyu and Bomas because people feel enticed to either remove them or to swing into them. So they become blockers or removable targets that otherwise they would be removing other battle cards in your board, and you're going to come to find our strategy in the battle cards that we're utilizing. Some of them can't be removed, and some of them you don't want to be removed because you want to continue to gain value from them being on the board. So there's decisions that have to be made. And then later on in those turns, if you do see these later on, you just slap them down for 1 energy a piece, and you start drawing, and then you can untap your 2 energy. And if you need to draw again, maybe you can tap 2 more energy to draw the card and rest the card. But I don't think you're going to be needing that, especially with how we're going to be constructing the deck. Now I'm moving to our 3 drops. Oh, well, sorry, we have one more 1 drop, and that's going to be our Frieza. So he's just going to be here for active 10k combo power. The 10k's in the deck is also very low, and on top of that, he does rest cards. He's still a very, very, very powerful 1-drop that can be utilized when you need to rest things to go off the game or just create certain plays that otherwise you wouldn't have the ability to do so. So yeah, that's that. Let's move into our next few cards. So our 3 drops going into our 4 drops. We have, as you guys can see, these cards right here. So let's kind of jump into Bioboy. He's very interesting. He's a 10k for 1, and that's one of the main reasons why we play him. But he also has an attacking skill. When attacking, if you have 2 or more active energy, you draw 1 card. So this is kind of some of the cards that we were referring to. You just want cards that's going to be able to get value for being on the board and just drawing cards to kind of like supplement your leader effect. Even if you're going against a 25k leader and you might just want to swing with this just to draw a card because your leader doesn't, and they kind of have to remove this card. So it's just another card that they have to remove alongside the Ginyus and the Bomas in order to stop you from having residual draws per turn. And like I said, he's a 10k, 20k pressure, which is good majority of the time. So yeah, he's going to be very important and valuable in the strategy of this leader here, as you guys can see. Now we're going to kind of go into our staples, and we have 3 Majin Buu. This is just a very important staple, especially in this deck, because for example, when your leader attacks, you get to untap 2 energy, so your 3 drops essentially become 1 drops. So Bioboy, this 3-drop Buu that we have at 3 in the deck, they are all 1 drops. So you're automatically going to get pardon me, you're automatically going to get value for the Bioboy the moment that he comes out. He's going to be 3 energy. Awakened, you'll have 2 energy open, and these guys start to stick on board. You're just drawing a lot of cards. Buu, you just kind of want to set up immediately once you're awakened, because you're setting him up for 1 energy. And there's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Setting him up for 1 energy is absolutely bananas. A battle card that just can't be KO'd, can't really die. It can constantly come back. It's very, very, very important. Now for our staples, we have 4 Majin Vegeta. This card is absolutely amazing in this deck, specifically because it's a 2-drop with your leader's effect. So you get to tap 4 for him, attack with him twice, essentially kill 3 or less, 3 drops or less in rest mode, and afterwards you get to then attack with your leader and untap 2 energy. So he's one of the aggressive, bouts of the deck. Next we're going into our Son Goku. This is just a staple. He's also another 2-drop in the deck, a very powerful 2-drop essentially. You can tap 4 energy for him, attack with leader, and now you're locked 2 things and you have 2 energies to spare. Then we have our 3-drop Vegeta. As you guys can see here, Vegeta is a very important card in this deck because he is a self-awakener alongside of Bulma. There will be times where your opponent may not want to attack into you, which I don't think that's going to be typically the case, because our first few turns, we're just swinging, drawing cards, and kind of just setting up for our awaken turn, and our opponent should have attacked us at least once or twice. So by the time he comes down with the Bulma, he's the one energy to play on that turn that you awaken, essentially, which is super powerful. Next, guys, another big important piece to the strategy is going to be this 3-drop Majin Buu Evil. As you can see, guys, we do not play the 3-drop Janemba. The 3-drop Janemba is actually a very vital and important card in my aggressive strategy, but in this strategy, he's not. One, he doesn't draw cards. Two, he is essentially a 2-drop 25k because he untaps an energy, and then your leader will untap an energy. But outside of that, that's all he is. He gets to rest a card, and then after that, you get no more value from him. Majin Buu Evil. Activate main once per turn, KO one of your battle cards. Draw 1 card, and if your opponent has 6 or more cards in their hand, they discard 1. This is one of the pivotal pieces of the strategy because this becomes a 1-drop. And on turn 4, you could actually play 2 of these. You can tap 3 energy. You have 1 energy open. You swing, then play another one, and now you can pop your 1-drops or your rested Bomas that you got value for, especially if you know they're gonna get next turn or they're gonna lose value. You can pop them, draw 2 more cards, and if they don't get rid of this card, you can pop himself next turn after attacking and just like draw extra cards and make your opponent pitch. A lot of the times, your opponent's hands may be bigger than yours, or they're gonna have more than 6 cards, and they gotta actually pitch cards to actually, pay for his effect. So that's pretty big, and he's one of the main pieces of the strategy. Very important 3-drop in the deck. Next, we're going to go into this SCR, guys. As you guys can see, this is the new SCR going into FB05. Very, very, very powerful card for yellow decks as a whole, and a very, very powerful card for this deck. Depending on the situation and what you're playing against, you're just going to slam this down instantly as soon as possible. And you don't even have to use his when attacking effect right away. You can just swing with him. He's a 30k barrier. He has attack barrier, which literally is like really hard. You can't remove it at this point of the game. And he's a 30k. So they have to swing into him in order to really get rid of him. And he's already at 30k, so that's a lot of resources and attack combo power wasted to try and defeat this card. And so he's just a secret for the deck, and if he, the longer he's on board, he just gets so much value. Really good tech against Jiren and some other pesky cards. For example, you might need to get rid of the SS4 Son Goku from the black decks. You'll be able to rest it, with some of the cards here. And then you'll be able to use your Vegetas to crack them off and start getting rid of their 3-drops, which is very, 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 they're 2-drops and then 4-drops, which is very, very, very important. For the last final 3 cards of the deck, we have Bioboy out of 4 of. This card is just absolutely bananas. So as you guys can see, once you start getting that 5 energy, you're going to start playing as Bioboy, and you're going to draw a card, so he replaces himself, and he also untaps 2 energy. This is super powerful because he's a 35k 5-drop, which is kind of hard to remove. For a lot of decks, they have to either KO him, and they have to be able to kill a 5-drop, or, just be able to bottom deck him or what have you. But once he's summoned, you get instant value because he turns into a 35k 3-drop that drew 1 card. And then your leader will attack and untap 2 energy. So now he's a 1-drop 35k essentially for that time. and you have 4 more energy to play on turn 5 after having played this card. So that's really powerful because you can play him and then go into a Boo or go into a Freezer. And now we played 2 0Ks in 1 turn, which essentially is going to, you know, put you in a place where they're not just kind of stacked in your hand, which is a very beautiful thing. Next, guys, we got our Freezers. This is just still very important and a pivotal piece against our green matchups. As you guys can see, we don't play any extra cards because of the hurry 0 count, and because of that, we have to make sure that we have an out for the green, which is always going to be this Freezer in the form of KO in it, and obviously the 4-drop here, which will keep it tapped. And then for our last cards, we have our super combos. So as you guys can see, this was a list that I put together. It is obviously subjected to change. I just, you know, really found that these cards work very synonymous with the leader, especially going into those turn 4 and 5 plays where, you know, you're going to be able to get to high energy because these 1-drops are going to be able to draw your cards and just allow you to take it turn by turn. You can defend a leader attack or 2 if you want to really get to turn 4 and 5 so that you don't awaken right away, and then you just start getting so much value. So that's going to be the list, guys. I want you guys to stay tuned for the aggro list. I've also been having a lot of fun building that list, and that is coming up shortly. So yeah, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Make sure you hit that sub button for more content to come, and like always, guys, stay